Okay, here we go. We're going to solve for the angle. Okay, this is the trig function. This is the angle. That's what we're trying to actually solve for. This is called a trig value. Trig value, that's the name of that. So we're going to figure out what the angle is. Okay, so here we go. Step 1, astica. Step 1 is astica. So what do I know? I know sine is a positive trig value. So where could I be? Sine is positive. Okay, so for me, I just kind of draw angles in those two quadrants then. Okay, step 2. We are going to figure out what is the reference angle. Okay, so how do I get reference angle? So my calculator is where I go. Okay, we did this with trig. How do you always get an angle in your calculator? What are you always pushing to get an angle? Inverse. So you're going to sine inverse. Sine inverse 0.386. And I'm going to get 22.7 degrees. So we figured out this astica stuff. We figured out the reference. So the last step is to figure out where am I exactly. Okay, so if I go 22.7 degrees from this x-axis, I am at, well, 22.7 degrees. This is, again, just the reference. It's the space. Just the space of that little spot. So if there's 22.7 degrees between here and here, what is this location? Whatever number this is, do you guys know it has to be between 90 and 180, right? Whatever this value is has to be between 90 and 180. What are you doing as a calculator maneuver? Yeah, 180 minus, because I am located behind the 180 line. I'm less than 180. So 180 minus is 157.3 degrees. Okay, you know that you can always check your answers. Here's what you do. What is the sine of the angle 157.3? Equals 0.386. Look at that. Okay, so this one, I need you to figure out where I should be. My astica stuff, where do you want to put me? Cos is negative. So think about where you are with Astica. Cos is negative. Did you pick the lefts? Did you pick the left? Okay, now we're going to get the reference. Something I'm going to tell you here is something you have to remember. So I'm going to cos inverse, but here's the kicker. You cannot do the negative, okay? So here's what I'm always just going to tell you to remember. With trig, don't put negatives in your math. Put negatives in your locations. Does that make sense? I've already applied the negative because I put it into the location. So don't put your negatives into your calculation math. Okay? That's going to be a general thing for this whole unit. Okay, so give me that value. Cos inverse of positive and I got 50 degrees. That's good? That's a reference. So this is telling me about the space from the x, always the x-axis. Okay, so what are my answers? What happens if you go 50 degrees less than 180? My answer there would be 130. I know that number has to be between 90 and 180, right? And then this would be me going 50 more than 180. So I'm doing 180 plus. Here I was doing 180 minus. Do you see that? That I'm bigger than 180? So this answer should be 230. Okay, and you always know what you're between. You're between 180 and 270 somewhere. Okay? What do you never ever use with your math? 90 and 270, never. You're going to either use 0, 180, or 360. Right? You can be smaller than 360.